It's time for the Daily Stand Up Podcast presented by Agile Dad with your host, Lee Henson. Without any further ado, let's get started. As usual, on Friday, it's time for our Agile, Not So Agile episode of the Daily Stand Up. So, today I wanted to talk to you a little bit about love and kindness and good deeds, I suppose. So, there's a parable or story, and it goes like this. Every Sunday morning, I take a light jog around a park near my home. There's a lake located in one corner of the park. Each time I jog by this lake, I see the same elderly lady sitting at the water's edge with a small metal cage sitting beside her. This past Sunday, my curiosity got the best of me, so I stopped jogging and walked over to her. As I got closer, I realized the metal cage was in fact a small trap. There were three turtles, unharmed, slowly walking around behind the base of the trap. She had a fourth turtle in her lap that she was carefully scrubbing with a spongy brush. Hello, I said. I see you here every Sunday morning. If you don't mind my nosiness, I'd love to know what you're doing with these turtles. She looked at me and smiled and said, I'm cleaning off their shells. Anything on a turtle shell, like algae or scum, reduces the turtle's ability to absorb heat and impedes its ability to swim. It can also corrode and weaken their shell over time. I thought to myself, wow, that's really nice of you. She went on, I spend a couple of hours each Sunday morning relaxing by the lake, helping these little guys out. It's my own strange way of trying to make a difference. But don't most freshwater turtles live their whole lives with algae and scum hanging from their shells? I asked. Yep, sadly they do, she replied. I scratched my head. Well, then don't you think your time could be better spent? I mean, I think your efforts are kind and all, but there are so many freshwater turtles live in lakes all around the world, and 99% of these turtles don't have kind people like you to help clean off their shells. So, no offense, but how exactly are your localized efforts here truly making a difference? The woman looked at me and smiled, even offered a small giggle, and said, as she looked down at the turtle in her lap and scrubbed off the last piece of algae from its shell, she said, Sweetie, if this little guy could talk, he'd tell you just how I made all the difference in the world. You know, I think sometimes it's our responsibility to scratch each other's back, if you will, because the truth is, each of us has burdens. Each of us has weights of the world on us. Each of us has our own scum and a little bit of algae on our shells. Each of us are slowly eroding every day because sometimes we don't have those people there to take care of us. And it reminds me of what a student told me in one of my classes. She says, people really don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And this applied to this turtle in this case, but in reality, this applies to us in our walk of life and our journey of life. It's important for us to help a brother or sister in need. It's important for us to reach out to someone and to do something kind. Those acts of kindness and generosity are tools that will stand out and help us just be better people. I think over time, we become conditioned to believe that people don't have our best interest in mind, or that they're trying to pull one over on us, or that we are not here to help other people. We're here to on this journey to do the best we can for ourselves and for our families. And while that is true that we should uplift ourselves and uplift our families and uplift everything we have spiritually to our creator, it's also incredibly urgent and irresponsible of us to think that we shouldn't take time to uplift others and to do things, acts of kindness for other people. So I guess what I'm trying to say in a nutshell is it will be easy for someone to say, I'm not making that big of a difference. My little effort here is not doing anything compared to the world's population. But the truth is, if you make a difference in the life of one person, that the ripple effect can make a change in the life of many people. Just ask Mother Teresa. They told her she was a fool for trying to feed all the citizens of Calcutta. And she smiled and looked at him and said, it might be foolish, but at least I can feed the ones that I can. And I think that's important for us to do our best to feed the people that we can, to do those acts of service and those acts of kindness, to get outside of our comfort zone and to not be afraid to touch a little bit of algae or scum. It's time for us to take off the the chainmail that we're wearing that's holding us down, and to find a way to do something kind. And my assurance to you is that if you find a way to do something kind for others, that act of kindness is going to come back to you tenfold. So I hope you have an amazing weekend. I hope you enjoy your time. And if you have a topic you want us to talk about on a daily stand up podcast, don't hesitate to reach out to us. Learn more at agiledad.com. As always, we encourage you to stay healthy, stay well, and stay agile, my friends. Until next week, do take care.